So we have an intro here. Intro being a little bit of what I've been doing for about a year now. I've been hosting a Battletech narrative chaos campaign. Narrative as far as like it's the chaos campaign is ongoing. Nothing has to end as far as for the game until you go bankrupt, of course. But I've may have done some ex machinas for the players to keep them going. But also the game's been progressing as I've been learning the rules. I haven't played Battletech since the TSR days, and back then I was more concerned about how many machine guns I could put on a tank than what I was about the lore of the game. So now, as trying to run a narrative campaign, I've been trying to read all the cliff notes as far as for the narrative. We are currently playing in the ilClan era. I have only 2 players in the campaign. One's playing the Remnant Jade Falcons in the Hinterlands territory, and the other player is a mercenary company that has currently sworn fealty to the compelling Confederation, only because the character that they've been dealing with, Peter Liao, has really been doing a lot for them and has been making things pretty easy for their life. So they went ahead and sworn an allegiance to them for the time being. And that is about it, I can say. Would like to have more players for sure. I've decided that it was probably time for me to try playing my own faction just to see how the rules are actually working. So the next 3 tracks I'm going to cover will be my company playing through. They did go bankrupt on the 3rd track, but we'll cover that more as we go. So the first game played was a bank heist on Rifleman Dominion, kind of taking a hint from the, was it the Mercenaries box or the Hinterlands release? I can't remember, but they had a hint in there saying that the Rifleman would hire mercenaries to take care of the periphery pirates that would be harassing them, but didn't have but had the tendency of not completing the contract and not paying the mercenaries that were helping them. So the story that I had in this bank heist was that one of the mercs that they didn't pay ponied up the information of where they had some cache of valuables, and then the player would have to go in to the Dominion's territory to steal the cache. So that's what I try to do with my Recon rejects, because they're pirates. So thought I would do the first one, trying to do a pirate raid. The Op4 that I had set up for this mission was a star security formation, and I had a urban locust. I mean, these were all pretty much second line clan mechs. So I had an urban 2C, locust 2C. What else did I have? That was a 2C. And then I had the Griffin 2C and a Shadowhawk 2C. So they were all pretty good mechs, considering that I have everybody start off with introductory mechs. So my stuff was no different. It was all introductory. And so going against that was probably a little higher compared to what I've had my other players start off with. But that's usually how I run my games anyways. My list was 4 mechs, 1 lance of 4 mechs, 2 archers, 2 riflemen. The second lance I had was a support lance of vehicles, and that was 2 Battlemech recovery vehicles, a HQ vehicle, and a M.A.S.H vehicle. And then the second lance was a jump platoon with flamers, because that was the intro level. The game was pretty interesting. We had another player show up, so not to have the player sit and not have anything to do, I basically doubled the amounts of points on the table. So we went from 6,000 versus 6,000 to 12,000 versus 12,000 points. And I was kind of hoping that the new player that joined us was going to be able to kind of draw a lot of the attention for me to be able to go in and smash and grab the loot so I could get it off the table. But the Op4s did a pretty good job actually pinning most of his mechs before even getting into the city area. And I kind of was getting beat up a little bit by the smaller stuff, but I couldn't get, I got to the building, but when trying to retrieve the stuff like that without being by the time I got to the building, my cohort or my partner in crime was pretty much decimated. I had one of my mechs, I had one of my riflemen get blown up from internal armor, not internal armor, but from internal ammo exploding because it had gotten caught exposed back and got destroyed. I can't remember what took it out. I think it was a Locust 2C that took it out. So I had lost that pretty quick in the game. The 2 archers were doing good as far as for introductory mechs. Both the archers and the riflemen, I purposely dumped a lot of their ammo before even starting the game. So by the time that my archers were already at the center of the table, they already had their LRM missiles already spent, and I think I only had 2 shots worth left of the SRMs that they were carrying. The riflemen had a little bit more ammo. They were supposed to go on for about 10 rounds worth of shooting, I think I had for their guns, or less. I honestly don't remember anymore. But obviously whatever I had in the first rifleman that got blown up was enough to totally rip its internals out. I got to the building that had the goods in it. I managed to get it, but by that time when I tried to take off with it, and my mech just got shot up to core by that point. I was trying to escape. Fortunately, the one Op4 that was in my back lines did not destroy the M.A.S.H unit, just because it was the M.A.S.H unit and wouldn't be right to do it, and they weren't really fighting anybody. They were just there to help heal my infantry. So, but I lost my HQ. I lost one of my Battlemech recovery vehicles, and then I lost all 4 Battlemechs. So anything that got off the table was my jump infantry, a damaged Battlemech recovery vehicle, and the M.A.S.H unit got off. So I had to spend roughly 5 between tracks to try to build up my force for the next track. And then we'll talk about that coming up. So for the second mission, it was called Relief Works, and basically the premise of the mission was that a periphery city had been attacked by pirates and the civilians were hurt, and the players are to go in and heal the 4 civilian units and then get the civilian units over the player's home edge. I went in with my Battlemech recovery vehicle, M.A.S.H unit, and a few of my exoskeletons that I purchased during the 5 months downtime. Op4 did an excellent job, considering that it only had a fire starter to come back in and terrorize the civilians. Managed to kill 2 of the civilian units, so I wasn't able to complete the bring 3/4 of the civilians back to the home edge, and my M.A.S.H unit wasn't able to heal any of the units to full capacity. That was the other objective, was to heal a unit to completion. So each of the civilian units was basically a squad of 7 individual people. The best I could get for both of them actually was, and I only was able to get that one up to 6, so neither one of them were to full completion. So the track was a failure, but fortunately my exoskeleton suits were able to take the fire starter down, so I didn't lose any assets, but I just didn't complete the track. So not enough revenue was gained from that track to progress my force much. So the last track that I played was a Recon track, and I had to do a visual ID of half the Op4's force with my force. We went with double the battle value, which gave Op4 6 mechs to use in the game, and I had a mixture of, I still had my M.A.S.H unit, I still had the Battlemech recovery. I believe I increased the number of exosuits that I had, and I purchased a couple more foot platoons. So as far as active units, I probably had more than probably what I should have had, but none of them really, other than the exosuits and one squad of platoon, ever got out of the recovery vehicle. Everything else stayed inside the recovery vehicle. Yeah, I had moved the recovery vehicle around quite a bit to unload the exosuits to go after what mechs they could. They were able to move pretty fast, considering that they had some improvements put onto them, which helped a lot as far as for which helped when the speed, I think, really caught the Op4 off a little bit that they had, so they were able to close ground reasonably well. But overall, I didn't think I was going to get the mission completed because of him doing well at keeping the 3rd visible mech out of range to be seen. It wasn't until towards the end, when I moved my recovery vehicle up towards the center to unload my foot platoon, I had accidentally revealed the locust that was hiding in the tree, and so it was able to do a point blank shot, and really messed up the Battlemech recovery vehicle pretty good. Fortunately, that paid off though, because then I was able to visually ID the revealed mech at that point, so that was able to give me the half requirement. One of the fun things is that another locust at the time had a swarm of my exosuits on it, and to get rid of the exosuits, the OPFOR had moved the locust to the water, not knowing that the hex that it could reach was only level 1 and not level 2. But seeing that their deaths were on the horizon, the exosuits did such an extremely good job destroying the locust that it collapsed prone into the level 1 water, killing them along with the mech. So that was a good way to go out as far as for the last game is concerns. The OPFOR was going to give up then at that point, since I had already visually ID'd half of the force, but I convinced him to press on and chase after my units, because narratively that's what should be done. And then, as I mean, being the GM for the campaign, it was the correct course to go. So the second locust that had nose dived into level 2 water with the swarming foot platoon managed to get back up and pretty much blitzed everything else that I had for my force trying to escape back to the home edge. So yeah, if I didn't speak up, I probably would have had the force playing in another track, but it was what it was, and that's how the narrative went for the force. So yeah, third track was Recon, and the only thing that got off the table was the M.A.S.H unit. Everything else that was on the table got destroyed by that one locust. So yeah, I think that things are okay so far with how the Chaos campaign is going. I'm sure there will still be changes, as this is supposed to be an ongoing narrative event, and also things will probably change when I become more and more familiar with the lore. But I'm going to be rebuilding my force again, and we'll try another game. I think we have the only track that is left up is a stand and fight track, so should be able to manage that. Hopefully we can get 2 games done on the day that we play. Yeah, I can't say that there could be many more videos beyond this, but we will see.